Okay, guys, hopefully this is going to work for you. I do not have any idea what's going on with my technology. Miss Fredrickson's having trouble with her phone. I'm having trouble with my phone and my mic, so hopefully this will work for you. This is not how I wanted to do it, but I guess this is the way we're going to have to do it. I wanted to go over your assignment about answering questions like a boss, just to kind of see how you guys are doing. And I spoke to Miss Riggenbaugh yesterday about things that she wants you to know when you come to fourth grade. And this is one of the things that she has talked to me the most about. I think that that's the thing that frustrates her the most is that kids are not recycling their answers and their questions. And I think she calls it restating the question, which is the same exact thing. So I want to make sure everybody's got it. And then I will be expecting you guys, once you do understand it, to start doing it that way to get good practice before fourth grade. All right, so this was the other day's lesson, mini lesson one. And so here we were supposed to read the text first, underline or highlight the important details, and then we could go back and find those important details really quickly. However, we can't do that when we're in this mode. So we were just going to use our eyes. And so then I read this to you about the flag. If you didn't see that video, you'll need to watch it to understand what I'm talking about with this one. And then here's how we recycle the question. So step one, underline or highlight the words in the question to use in the answer. So we would go back through the question and decide which one of these words would be the best words to put in our answer. And I decided that the flag today is different from the flag in 1777, and then I added because, and I did add the word is to make this make sense, because otherwise if I would have said the flag today different from the flag in 1777, just doesn't make sense. So I needed to make it make sense, but those are the words that I used directly from the question. Okay, and I did that in all three of these questions. And so after you underline and highlight, then you write those words just like I showed you. And then you were supposed to choose one of the articles from the slides, the next few slides, and read the article, decide what words from the question you want to recycle, write only those words on the lines for each question like I did. You don't need to finish the question or the answer. You just need to write those words. And that was it for today. You only had to do one, but you could do more if you wanted. So this was yesterday. I said today, but I meant yesterday. Okay, so I don't want to be there. I want to go back to here. And I want to talk about this again just a little bit, just to make sure everybody's on the same page here. So I talked about this first question and using the words from here. The second question I used, well, the question is asking my opinion. So I started it by saying, I think, because it says, why do you think the flag is burned when it can no longer be used? And I used the words from the question, the flag is burned when it can no longer be used. And I added the word because. Now remember, I said in the video yesterday that when we're answering questions like this, it's okay to use the word because. I know we've talked about like trying not to use because in our writing, but those were writing paragraphs and reports and things like that. When you're answering questions, it's okay to say because. And then what does half staff mean? The questions from that, or the words from that question I said were the words half staff mean. And I included the word words because otherwise if I said half staff means, it's okay, but I think if I specify what half staff is, those are words. It just seemed to make more sense. All right, let's take a look at popsicles. I was going to have you guys share if any of you did this article about popsicles. I was going to have you share one of your questions and what you did to write it. So since we could do this live, I'm just going to go ahead and do it for you. And this is an example. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. But remember, the first step is after we've read it and we've highlighted and underlined the important stuff in the text, we'll look at the question and decide what words from the question we want to include in our answers. So I'm not going to take the time right now to read it, but I do want to see if I can answer the question. And I'm going to skip down to number 2 just because I like this question the best. It says, why is the popsicle called an accidental invention? So again, I need to just take the words from the question and type them here. So let me get that typed in. The words I'm going to use are the popsicle is called, I had to add is to make it make sense, an accidental. Now notice I put quotation marks because that's what it shows here. Accidental invention, and then put my other quotation marks because they are quoting the text. The popsicle is called an accidental invention because. Okay, that's all I'm going to put for that answer. Then, since I don't need to use this line right now, actually, I'll leave it because I might use it here in a little bit. All right, so that's one way that you can answer that. All right, let's talk about if you did buzzing bees. And again, I'm not going to read the text because of time's sake, and I was going to have you guys share with me what you wrote. Let's do this one. Why are bees important insects? So, what do you think? I'll give you a second to think about it. What words would we use from this question? Okay, so here's what I would write. Bees are, I added the word are, important insects. Those are the words right from the question. Because. Now remember, I can use the word because I'm answering this question. All right, and I just wanted to include the first part. All right, let's take a look at great white sharks. And do number 2. Name one way a great white is different from a whale shark. Now, this is not a question, but it's still wanting you to give an answer. So think of it as a question. So again, I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm going to decide which words from that statement or question I want to include in my answer. So I'm going to start with A. Oh, I'll let you guys think for a second. Sorry, I get too excited sometimes. Okay, here's what I would say. A, and it's not capitalized, which I'm shocked that it's not because great white is the name of the shark. But I'm going to type it in just how it is here. Great white is different from a whale shark. And let's see. I think because would work here as well. And then I'd stop there. Now, down at number 3, this question's kind of interesting because it asks it in a different way. How are humans harmful to great white sharks? So I'll give you a second to think about what you would put in your answer from the question. Okay, here I would not use the word because. This is what I would do. Humans are harmful. I'm going to put this on the next line here in a second. Harmful to great white sharks. And notice it capitalized that H because I went to a new line. Just go back and fix it. And instead of saying because, which you probably could do, but I think it makes more sense because the question is asking how. Well, they are harmful by doing something. So I'm going to say by. And then when I go to finish this answer, I'm going to explain what they're doing that is harmful to the sharks. So what they're doing is how they are harmful. It's not because they are doing those things. It's asking how. If it said, why are humans harmful? Then I could say because. So something to think about. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of review that with you. Here's what I want you to do. If you are struggling with this first part, I want you to send me a message send a message to this video letting me know that you need more help. Okay? If you're doing fine, let's go on to mini lesson number 2. All right, so let's take a look at that. And again, this is recorded, so you guys will be able to go back and listen to it again. All right, so here is mini lesson 2 about how to answer questions like a boss. So this is the second part. Okay, so the second thing we would do, we've already read the article, we've already highlighted and underlined, we've already used words from the question. The second thing we need to do is to look back into the text at what we underlined or highlighted. And since we can't do that now, we'll just pretend like we are, and see if there's any evidence from the text that helps you answer the question, or in other words, helps you finish answering the question. All right, so here talking about the flag today being different from the flag in 1777. So I need to go back into the text somewhere and figure out how today's flag is different from that first flag. I see the date 1777 here, so I'm wondering if my evidence might be in that area. So I'm going to take a look here. Now, if I had the paper, I probably would have gone back and highlighted. So just keep that in mind. So let's see. We'll start at the beginning of the sentence here. Where is it? Oh, he chose June 14th because this was the day in 1777 when the Stars and Stripes became the official flag of the United States. So that's talking about the first flag. At that time, the flag had 13 stars and stripes. And then it goes on to a different topic about the flag, saying many people will fly their American flag on this day. It doesn't say anything about the flag now. Ooh, I'm going to have to use my brain a little bit on this one. Thinking about the flag now, and there's a picture of it right here, and I don't expect you to be counting everything, but if you know your information about flags, you would know that there are now 50 stars instead of 13. So back when that flag was first made, the 13 stars were the colonies, and now the 50 stars are the states, United States. So even though I don't have that information in my text, I can use this information about it having 13 stars and stripes to help me with that. Now we still have 13 stripes because I think they still represent the colonies of when our country became a country. So I'm going to keep in mind how many stars there are. Okay, and then this question, why do you think the flag is burned when it can no longer be used? So I'm going to look through here. I know it's not in this paragraph because this is talking about when the flag first started. So I'm going to skip down here. It's talking about showing respect and the proper way to handle things. And then it gives some examples. So I'm going to keep looking. And then, there we go, the last sentence. Finally, when a flag is too old and worn to fly anymore or be used anymore, it should be burned in a respectable and proper way. So why do you think, again, this is an opinion, I think, and then it tells me here that it's too old and worn to fly anymore, so I can't use it anymore, but I should burn it to have it be a respectable and proper way to do it. I don't just go and throw it in the trash can. That's not the respectable way to do that with our flag. Okay, so keep that in mind. What does half-staff mean? Okay, so I noticed that half-staff here is it looks kind of different than the other words, like it's kind of italicized. So I'm going to look back in here and, oh my gosh, it just stood out right to me right away. There it is, because it looks the same as what it looks like in the question. Now, this isn't going to happen all the time. You just got lucky with this one. So I know it's in here, but I'm going to start with the sentence or the context around these words and see if I can get the information I need to finish my question or finish my answer. So I'm going to read until I get what I need. On some days, such as Memorial Day, you may see the flag flown at half-staff. Okay, that sentence doesn't give me any information except the words half-staff. But then I notice it says, This means the flag is flown lower on the pole